بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وآله وصحبه الطيبين الطاهرين وصحابته المخلصين المجاهدين. We are back to Al-Muhalla, كتاب التوحيد, page 56, issue 63 from line 15 until 22. Is it better now?
Same, it's okay. Yeah, it should be okay.
Check. Quiet is. No, it's fine. That is okay. Well, yeah. How is it? Yeah, okay. Okay, now issue 63, line 15 to line 22 in page 56. We still in the book of Tawheed. We'll go inshallah to the usul and the fiqh. مسألة 63. وأن الله تعالى يراه المسلمون يوم القيامة بقوة غير هذه القوة. قال عز وجل: ووجوه يومئذ ناظرة إلى ربها ناظرة. آية 22 القيامة. حدثنا عبد الله بن ربيع حدثنا ابن السليم حدثنا ابن الأعرابي حدثنا أبو داود حدثنا ابن أبي شيبة هو أبو بكر حدثنا جرير ووكيع وأبو أسامة كلهم عن إسماعيل بن أبي خالد عن قيس بن أبي حازم عن جرير بن عبد الله أنه سمع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول: ونظر إلى القمر: إنكم سترون ربكم كما ترون هذا لا تضامون في رؤيته. ولو كانت هذه القوة لكانت لا تقع إلا على الألوان، تعالى الله عن ذلك. وأما الكفار فإن الله عز وجل قال: إنهم عن ربهم يومئذ لمحجوبون. آية 15 سورة المطففين. Issue 63, line 15 to 22 in page 56, that Allah, the Exalted, will be seen by the believers يوم القيامة, the resurrection day, with a power which we don't have now, with another facility which will be given to them. Allah, the Exalted and Majestic, said, faces at that day are beautiful, nadira, it's youthful and full of beauty and youthfulness. Like when you see the green plants are full of greenness and freshness and happiness, looking to its Lord. إلى ربها ناظرة. This is ayah 22 Surah Al-Qiyamah. And then he narrates, Ibn Hazm narrates, told us Abdullah ibn Rabi', told us Ibn Salim, told us Ibn al-Arabi, told us Abu Dawud, told us Ibn Abi Shayba. This is Abu Bakr ibn Abi Shayba. Told us Jarir wa Waki' wa Abu Sam, all of three from narrating from Ismail ibn Abi Khalid, from Qais ibn Abi Hazim, from Jarir ibn Abdullah, the companion, that he heard the Messenger of Allah saying, and he was looking to the moon: you will see your Lord as you see this. No one will be hindering the other from his seeing. لا تضامون في ذلك. Nobody will be wronged from seeing it. Everyone will be seeing it equally well. And he continues with his own words: ولو كانت هذه القوة لكانت لا تقع إلا على. If it would have been our power for today, our power today sees only the colors, and Allah is above colors and above space and time, so it must be another power, something else. Allah is exalted above that. But the kuffar, they will not be seeing him. Allah, the Exalted and Majestic, says they are shielded from their Lord at that day. إنهم عن يومئذ عن ربهم لمحجوبون. Ayah 15 Surah Al-Mutaffifin. So Ibn Hazm said that it will be another power, another type of seeing, and doesn't commit any further, and committing any further is useless and produces nothing, get us nowhere, because we don't know the type of power we will be seeing and which type of seeing it is. But it's something which, if it could be expressed in the concept of today, should be called seeing. Anything else cannot be said about that. At least we could say that the consciousness perception inside the seer is similar to the conscious perception in some sense to that what we feel in dunya. We differentiate very well between seeing some colors and some lights, and hearing some sounds, and tasting some sweets or some bitterness. We distinguish that it is of from this general category, but any further details will be misleading and futile. Let me just comment for us, not for the general publication. Someone could say, could argue there's another hadith that the only thing preventing them, this hadith I think also in Bukhari, the only thing preventing them from seeing their Lord in paradise is the burqa', the veil of pride on his face. Now this is very metaphorical. What does this mean? So it means they don't see him in paradise. because they're the veil of pride. On the other hadith, many other hadith, and the ayah says they see him. So there seems to be some kind of conflict or problem. In reality, they could be synchronized very reasonably the following way. But don't take that as absolute. It's just a thought, just to freshen your brain, like we have some courageous thought yesterday. Seeing his divine essence is not possible. It's not accessible to any power, to any finite power. This is the veil of pride. What's the meaning of pride? Of the difference between the infinite being, the necessary being, which has distance from any other being, infinite distance. So there's no way to access. So there's the veil of the pride in Jannat Aden still there. So they don't see his essence as he is, because it's not possible. There's no access. Only someone equal to him would be able to see him, but does not exist. So it's not possible. On the other hand, he wants to be kind to his and loving to his beloved one in paradise, and want them to see him. So he creates for him a certain image suitable to their capability, which they can then, we could see there's no problem. They see it like we see in dunya, because he created, and it comes in there, create either direct in the brain or create light from outside, representing him in a certain way as much as possible to represent the infinite in their minds. So what you see is not him, a picture representing him by his own design, up to your level of perception, which in the akhirah different than dunya. That's number one. And secondly, maybe up to your level of your piety. Some people here see him more beautiful than the others, or something like that. No, that's not as vague as the James say, out of the way or wrong as it may appear, because in the hadith about Yawm al-Qiyamah, that in Yawm al-Qiyamah, when he comes for the accounting, the people, everyone, even the kuffar, so even Hazm is going overboard there, they are shielded from their Lord, does not mean they are necessarily shielding. They cannot see him in anger, see the angry side of him, but mean they are shielded from his mercy, most likely, because in Yawm al-Qiyamah, everyone will be talked to him directly by his Lord and accounted directly. Maybe behind a veil. Maybe they hear him but don't see him. We don't know. So we should not make a judgment there. So maybe Hazm still right that the kuffar will never see him. But then in a later phases in Yawm al-Qiyamah, after the finishing of the accounting, then people are sent over the Sirat and various places, like Hadith in Tirmidhi with a Sahih Isnad. He comes, the sun appears to the worship of the sun, and they follow it, and it fall with them in the hellfire. Obviously not this sun, something similar to the sun. The idols appear to the idol worshipper, and so they come follow me, and they follow them, and they collapse in the hellfire. And then that's what the hadith says. He comes in a picture, in an image, not that the one they know, the one they saw during the accounting. I said, I am your Lord. Come say, Na'udhu billahi mink. You are not our Lord. We know our Lord. So he laughs and shows himself in his. So he comes with another picture. Evidently, Allah does not change in his essence. So it's creating them images. That's I don't think over the mark. We are just speculating a bit. So then they say, and the next sujood say, yes, you are our Lord. And the munafiqeen will not be able to make a sujood. Their back will be like one piece. So the moment they try to sujood, they'll fall on their faces instead they make a proper sujood. Why the believer? This is our first place where the munafiqeen are exposed, that they are not. And then they will be exposed later. So it seems to be that Yawm al-Qiyamah is a very complicated structured situation, not just accounting and then go to Jannah. Now there are phases and so on. Then the munafiqeen seem to have forgotten that. They seem to be past the sirat over the hellfire, thinking they have passed safely. Until then the special wall will be struck between them and the believer. Their light will be, so the people go in a darkness area, and where you have light guiding you according to your iman. And the munafiqeen will have a false light for a certain time, and then when they think they are over, the light is gone, and they are just going right and left blind. And then they know that there were other people who have light, so they call the believer, and there's a wall shielding them. So they call the believer, give us some of your light. Where we're not with you in dunya. Said, yeah, you appear to be with us in dunya, but in reality you are not. You're a hypocrite. You're not believer. You're not true believer. Now go back, get the light from the source we got the light from. If you have any light, there's no source. God. And this is the surah which will be struck between them, the wall. So there are various phases in Yawm al-Qiyamah, and Allah may appear in various pictures, which obviously himself in his essence he doesn't change. So he creates for them various images. Allahu A'lam how it is. Maybe just creating directly in the mind, immediately, like Musa was hearing him and nobody else hearing him. So it cannot be vibration in the air, because this will be, it could be, but the other shielded from hearing. It is less demanding to say it's creating his hearing inside the brain directly, or the others cannot hear because it's not in the side brain. and the same electronic waves there, which represent as if it is a. So Musa feel that his drum is vibrating, the same thing like it's from outside. That's not from outside; it's inside. It can't be done. That's not. It's done now by electrodes in the brain. They can give you certain signals, and you think you are hearing certain sounds from outside. So this is nothing, for especially by modern science. But even in time past, it should be not really a major. Now we know how to do that. This is trivial. So it's really complex, but definitely there will be some kind of seeing which you relate to as you are seeing Allah. Someone could argue, even in dunya, I'm not seeing you really your essence. I'm seeing just a picture coming on, which is only a part of you, because your back I'm not seeing at the moment. You have to turn to see your back. So I see only certain aspects of you by reflection of light. Evidently, Allah is not a bodily being in that sense, and no light will be reflected, but He can create light coming from Himself, or create in your eyes such a situation which should present something outside which is not outside, which is really something real. It's not fooling the eyes. It's not sihr. No, it is something real, because it is as real as the picture is coming. Here it is initiated by an outside light. There it is outside by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It has the same level of reality, maybe even stronger. For example, talking about dunya eyes and dunya perception. In akhirah we have other features. We have here about the one whose molar tooth is bigger than the mountain Uhud in the hellfire. People extend and become like mountains, and keeping their consciousness is obviously the same, maybe sharper, and the intellect is more capable. They are in another state, but they still identify themselves as the man who used to be in dunya, Muhammad al-Massari, or the woman who used to be XYZ, or Rajal ibn Unfo, whose molar will be like bigger than Uhud, in the hellfire. He would know, I am the one who witnessed for tribal reasons and dunya reasons for Musaylama to be the messenger. Muhammad testified to Musaylama has a share in his prophethood, and he went to the public and said, yes, Musaylama is telling the truth. I hear the messenger of Allah Muhammad saying Musaylama has got a share in prophethood. He witnessed that publicly to gain power or to gain access or tribal dominance or whatever motivation. So he would identify himself as that person, although it's another recreation of himself. So the matter is a bit complex there. It is not as trivial as I said. The common man will imagine it in a simple way. No problem. That's very perfectly fine. The philosopher will be able to accommodate for more sophisticated picture. But it is not completely settled as some people think that it is, because we know the nature of seeing in dunya. What's it? It's light coming from outside in the eye to see something outside, or exciting brain cells in a certain way, so you see. Obviously we are not so sophisticated to let you see, for example, the whole Star Wars movie, for example, this way. We are not, but nothing. If I can let you see certain flashes, if we have sufficient knowledge and sophisticated technology, we may be able to let you see Star Wars in the wall there, and there's nothing, just by sufficient number of electrodes. I don't think we will leave, because it's so complex. Most likely it will not be manageable, it will be not economical. It's better to produce the movie with the billions rather than trillions for that, money-wise. So, but fundamentally, in principle, it's possible. For the power of Allah, it is no problem. Completely no problem. Like, for example, when the after Isra, the Quraysh asked him, okay, describe Bayt al-Maqdis, and say, I was in such a squeeze and the jam, I started sweating because I came to Bayt al-Maqdis at night. And that moment, Allah lifted Bayt al-Maqdis in front of him. He was seeing him. Now Bayt al-Maqdis was in its place. Nobody said that the earth collapsed or something. So he got a picture in front of him, as if he's looking at a television, a divine television. He said, yes, there's a house there, there's a minaret, there is a dome, there's a cross in that church, there's that place, there's a garbage dumpster there, there is this. The man who has been there, he is describing it as we know, because they were in Bayt al-Maqdis. Many of them, they know it exactly. They were business people. And he was describing accurately that street goes to right, left, and turns up the hill. That's the place that Christians believe Jesus was crucified. And this is the Garden of Gethsemane. All of that he's describing. He must have been there, but he was seeing it. He was there at night. He did not see it, but he was given a picture. What is that? Obviously, nobody else was seeing it. So either it was outside and everyone was prevented from seeing, or it was in his brain, created this way by divine power. Which, if you try to emulate, maybe you need several $1 trillion to produce the necessary equipment and the signals and so on.
You know Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
When he puts the ring on, and there's a certain image and it comes
Yeah,
up,
something like that.
seeing everything going around. And
Yeah. The same my wife was asking, was the Mi'raj with body and soul? Say this is an old futile discussion, There's no problem to say with the body, because what's the problem? We have beam me up, Scotty, and Star Trek, beam me up, no problem. And that will be not beaming even with physical means, with unphysical means, so at infinite speed. Another one, but we know for certain only the one who is lifted with body or soul is Isa, because the disciples narrate in the New Testament. The Quran does not say anything about it. It's just mutawaffika, I will receive all of you. Does not clearly say body or soul. But the disciples say that he was with them, giving them the farewell speech, and then he was ascending in heaven in front of them until he passed the clouds and disappeared. So over infinity, until the cloud, at least body and soul are gone. Nobody is left on earth. The whole person was gone. We know, we have a testimony. If that testimony is accurate, and there is no reason to believe it's not accurate. Quran testified that he is lifted. Yeah. So they testified for that. So that's but lifting can be with the soul, with the body alone. This is not really, because there's narration about Mi'raj. One of the Sahabi said his body was not missed at night. He was still in his bed. So it was like a vision, but it's not a vision like a dream. It's something more deeper than that. So another level, we have attending with your body, attending with your soul in a certain conscious state, and attending while you are not conscious as in a dream state. Dream state, you don't see reality, you see symbols and indications of reality. But with your soul, you may see the reality as it is. There's no symbolism there. They may be mixed with symbolism. So it's going in this domain too much with reality, it excessively will not get you anywhere. Metaphorically, excessively will get you nowhere. It is in between, and we have models. We have models now with these quantum mechanical phenomena and science fiction emanation. That's imagination, but based on certain aspects of science which may turn out to be true, at least in this application. They're true in themselves, but not in that sophisticated level. But basically, it's possible. Like, for example, beaming is possible by teleportation. It seems to be they were successful to teleport one electron or something like that. Beaming an electron away or something like one electron. But beaming trillions and trillions is a big issue there. So it's almost impossible to reconstruct you again. I think it's impossible. Will never be achieved with any finite mean in the universe. You have to have divine power for that, or much bigger power.
Something about they need the energy of the whole universe or something.
And even worse, the organization, the entropy is more important than the energy. So you need such energy, and you need organized energy, entropy. And this is, we know we have limitation by thermodynamics and so on. And to overcome them, you have to have enormous energy and enormous organization, because this is a matter of organization. You are organized to get you, disintegrate you in bit by bit and reconstruct you as it is. That's a feat which I don't think is manageable for any finite power in the universe. But leave it open. They claim they have teleported one electron, one photon. But one photon to a human which has 10 to the 23, that's billion electrons and photons, is another story altogether. So in that phenomena, keep a bit of open mind. Don't get stuck in this, that it's really ru'ya. The ru'ya is similar to the ru'ya of dunya, but the one seen is different than anything we know, because Allah is absolutely different from any existing reality. So he will be showing himself to us in such a way which is suitable that we are finite being, but does not contradict, as we say, it's impossible to do the impossible. So that's what the hadith indicate, that the only thing preventing him from seeing him in the Garden of Eden is the veil of arrogance or kibriya on his face. What does this mean? That he's a necessary being, and this veil is eternal. By necessity, it cannot be lifted ever, that veil. So they see anything which is less than that veil. So he let you see from him things which do not contradict, which is not within the realm of impossibility. And the best is to say he create a suitable picture of him in your, like in dreams. Some people see Allah in dream. The Prophet saw him in dream. That's no problem. And most scholars agree that seeing Allah in dream is not a problem. Obviously, you see a picture, symbolism representing him for you. But you know it is Allah talking to you, or you are seeing him in dreams, but not in consciousness of being awake, or consciousness of the soul in dunya. In akhirah, it's another. It is in the awake state. Yeah, clarified. Come on. Yeah, you can write it. We'll keep it for us. No, I think this commentary is yesterday's commentary that should be kept hidden. But today is I think is standard, because we have the hadith that he comes in another surah. So, but Allah does not change in his essence. So what means he appears to the people. That's clear. He doesn't deform himself. He deforms your picture in your mind of himself. So صورة says يأتي في صورة غير التي يعرفونها, in a picture or an appearance which they don't know. So what does this mean? That's the only explanation, because his divine essence cannot change. It's eternal. Maybe a human being can change, putting his face, making face, but that's not possible for the divine. So he creates, but he's capable of creating whatever image in him. So maybe the whole seeing is of this type, a suitable picture pointing to him and relating to him in the proper sense that you say, I am seeing Allah, and you are right, but you're not seeing the full divine essence because the veil of Kibriya is still in his face. So all these nusus will work together smoothly, but you have to go a little bit deeper than the shallow-minded approach of some people, especially Salafi. You have to go a bit deeper, but it's manageable. There's nothing outrageous there. I think it fits with the hadith and the ayahs, etc. Okay, so that's one. Let me make a small comment about the hadith, which seemed to be, I don't think it's, Al-Bari said it's Hasan. I'm doubtful about its veracity. I think it's from the people of the book, and someone made it marfu', that Allah created Adam on his picture, according to his picture or to his image. And the Christian usually say man is created by in God's image. What it means, if it is really true from any previous revelation, means that man is having knowledge, having perception, having will, which are small miniature of the divine attributes. That's the meaning of his image, not any physical image, but the spiritual image, which is of a willing, living, conscious being. And this is obviously a projection of the divine image in that sense. So it doesn't need us to create any problem thinking Allah looks like a human or having a head or eyes or that's not. But the hadith is not well established. I think it's from taken from the people of the book, one Sahabi or Tabi'i, and someone make it lifted up.
What hadith book is that in?
No, I don't know where. It's somewhere we can check it. But it's Al-Bani claimed it is Hasan. I'm doubtful that you can. Yeah. I'm doubtful that you can verify that it is really Sahih, which you can rely on as an authority. And if it is authority and Sahih, it will be in the sense like in the previous scriptures, which used often by Christians and Jews, which means that correct meaning, not what simple-minded people think. Yeah, that.
Shadowy imagery, could you say that?
No, meaning no. He has will, he has knowledge, and these are divine attributes. That's the image of the divine. He's a living, willing, capable, free agent. In absolute terms, you are in a limited term. So there is a finite projection of this infinite, living, willing, capable, free being. Yeah, that's the only suitable. Some people try to say no. خلق آدم على صورته, he created Adam in his original appearance, so he's created him suddenly, meaning he did not go through phases. But this is going again in the theory of evolution and things which most likely even false. So that's a good interpretation. على صورته means the image of the divine, not its original image. He created him suddenly in his when not going through phases, not necessarily. Actually, maybe creating through phases is the more well established, both from the text and from the theory of evolution, rather than the other. But these are areas maybe needs more research and more meticulous work. But there's nothing there which is kufr and iman. Some people think, oh, this will lead. No, this is all obsessed minds. And apologetic or defeated minds. There's nothing with kufr and iman that can be studied thoroughly and developed without much problems. But I don't believe, I have a feeling that hadith someone narrated from what the people of the book say, and someone thought it is a hadith. Like various things relating to creation of the world, and in the first day it was, even one in Muslim, most scholars dispute with Muslim that it is sahih. Abu Hurairah narrates that in the Sabbath the mountains were created, on the Sunday it was trees, etc. Most scholars say this for people of the book, and some narrator made a mistake and confused in his mind that it is a hadith marfu'. It's not hadith marfu'. It's not the way the Prophet usually describes the creation. He usually does not describe it, referring the people to the Quran, and if he's asked, he gives general terms like Allah was and nobody was with him and things like that. He doesn't go in the Saturday, Sunday. That's not the style of the Prophet. It's a taste of Genesis and the Old Testament.
The Sahabi called
Ka'b al-Ahbar is not Sahabi, he's a Tabi'i. He missed the Prophet ﷺ, and he was narrating from the people of the book and trying to synchronize with Islam. I don't think the man is evil. I think he's sincere. he has a wide imagination. For example, interpreted things for Umar that this will happen, this will happen. You know, some of the people of the book, they take bits of the Torah and put them together and construct prophecies and things like that. He seems to be of this type. He seems to be a man of high spirituality and high imagination. Like most of the scholars, the good scholars of the people of the book, having the great imagination, because the Old and New Testament are full of symbols. They are not a direct language. These two books, if you work them literally, you will fail. You have to work metaphorically plenty. So if you are trained in that and you can find the Islamic text, you may try to synchronize and you may come to interesting things. So he made prophecies for Umar, and Umar asked him, I am a king or Khalifa, so no, you are a Khalifa, one of the best Khulafa, which is true. Some people say he may be a hidden Jew trying to undermine Islam. I don't think so. No. Muawiyah said, we test him and sometimes we find him lying. I don't think he means lying in the sense that he lying intentionally, but what he says is not fitting with the truth. But he's a mujtahid, he's doing ijtihad. You could say the same of Ibn Abbas. Some of things he says about the Quran explanation and some narration is in itself a lie. It's not true, like the Lat, which was making the dough for the Hujjaj. It's just a plain forward lie. The Lat is a divinity known 3,000-4,000 years before Islam and was worshipped by the Arabs even before the tribe of Thaqif and the people of Taif existed. And we have evidence in the Book of Tawheed, overwhelming evidence. So, but he thought this may be a true story. He heard that narrated by some people and he took it on board. He's a mujtahid, he has the right to do that. But you have also the right to be critical. That's all that's there. I mean, Abbas is not making a mistake to tell you what people were thinking that the Lat may be one possible explanation. But if you're stupid to think this is a revelation, then that's your mistake, not the mistake of Ibn Abbas. He never said the Messenger of Allah told me, or I got revelation with that. No. So things like that. So if someone said that we tested him, sometimes he turned out to be a liar, because the word lie is used sometimes is not telling the truth in itself. No, not meaning he's lying intentionally, because that's the word of lie in Arabic could mean both of. Like for example, in Ubadah ibn Samit, someone told him Abu Muhammad, one of the Sahaba said, Al-Witr is wajib. Say, Kadaba Abu Muhammad. Abu Muhammad is lying. The witr is not wajib. Evidence, the Messenger of Allah said, Allah made on you obligation 5 days prayer day. Who complete them has a guarantee to know. Who have deficiency in them, Allah will have the choice to punish him or release him. Things like that. So the witr cannot be wajib, because the Prophet says only 5 are, who complete them will have a guarantee to enter paradise. So it can't be. Muhammad cannot be telling the truth in itself, not that he's lying intentionally or cheating you or giving you the wrong fatwa by intention. No, his fatwa is not correct. Maybe he's not correct. It's wrong. So kadab, he's wrong. Could be he lied, meaning he's wrong. Not lying, meaning he's telling the untruth intentionally. That what he's telling is not true, although he may be believing it to be true. So sometimes it refers to your belief, sometimes it refers to the fact in itself. In Arabic, in English it's not like that, but in Arabic it's more common like that. It's quite common like that. Although predominantly is intentional lie, yes, but the other one should not be neglected.
So could you refer that to Musaylama? Could that be referred to Musaylama or not?
No, Musaylama is a liar. He's intentionally lying.
He might have believed he wasn't lying.
No, he knows that he's lying, and he fabricated. Oh yeah, he knows. Yeah, he knows that he's lying. And Al-Rajal ibn Unfa know he's lying, because that's the fact that the Prophet claimed that he's the final Prophet and there's no Prophet with him, and warned from three major lies, is so well established beyond any doubt. But politics and desire for dunya and control can destroy you, can kill you. So that's about the seeing. I think that settles the issue quite well. We don't need to argue with the Mu'tazila. The divine being is eternal and we are finite. How can we say eternal? There's no problem. It can be by creating an image. It can be by other ways. It can be synchronized nicely. There's no major problem there. Major problem is really in pre-knowledge and qadar. There are some standard major problems. This is not a problem. I don't know why the Mu'tazila got stuck. Somehow, maybe because they thought that you see by the power of your eye, you see the things as they are. Or a light comes through your eye and reflects. That's not true. We know that's not true. You cannot see except what comes in your eye, but from outside anyway. Even the theory of vision at the time was wrong, and based on that wrong, they developed wrong ideas, etc. Yeah. Okay, next masala. Yeah, I think we commented enough on that. We don't need to get stuck with that. Issue 64, that's from line 23 until 26. That's a short issue. مسألة 64. وإن الله تعالى كلم موسى عليه السلام ومن شاء من رسله. قال تعالى وكلم الله موسى تكليما. آية 164 النساء. إني اصطفيتك على الناس برسالاتي وبكلامي. آية 140 الأعراف. تلك رسل فضلنا بعضهم على بعض منهم من كلم الله. آية 253 البقرة. Issue 46, trivial issue I would say, that we believe that's part of Tawheed, that Allah spoke to Musa directly and to others whomever he wishes from his messengers. The Exalted said, 64. The Exalted said, Allah spoke to Musa in speech directly. كلم الله موسى تكليما. That's ayah 164 Surah An-Nisa. And in another place say, إني اصطفيتك على الناس برسالاتي, I have elected you above all people by my messengerhood and by my speaking directly to you. It's ayah 144 Araf. In another ayah, Allah said, تلك الرسل, those messengers, we have preferred some of them over the others. Some of them Allah spoke to them directly. كلم الله. This ayah 253 Al-Baqarah, which shows that some of the messengers have been addressed. What is the sum? The sum could be a one. Maybe Musa only, maybe others too. We don't know. But some messengers may have been spoken to by Allah directly, without the mediation of an angel. That's the meaning of that. And this is again, we discussed the matter of Quran and the speech, etc. before. This is because of the issues related to speaking and non-speaking and all this nonsense, which is completely empty and absurd. We can say here similar to about seeing. We know in speech is with the vibration of the air coming in your ear, but you don't need that. We can put electrodes in your brain and produce such signals that you think you are hearing the symphony. Not a symphony, because it's too complex again, but hearing certain sound, then something like simple sound. And if we are sophisticated enough of a sufficient capability, I could let you hear a complete symphony if necessary. So, how Allah to speak to someone, if you get involved in that, you are stupid, you are not going to get anywhere. Because you don't know how even this, you know what speech comes in you, recognized in your brain. So stop there and don't go where you don't know where it is. But Allah is capable to make you hear Him talking, and you recognize that He is the one talking to you. That's enough. What's the mechanism? It may be too complex, maybe undetectable, maybe impossible to know, maybe one day possible to know, but it's not going to get us even one dot further. Yeah.
All these phenomena, like the splitting of the sea, the speaking of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to Musa alayhi salam, all these phenomena, they are within the laws of this universe though, but on a complex level.
Could be.
They're not, could they in any way be outside of this universe? In this whole,
Could either way. It could be supernatural. Why not? But for example, even in the Old Testament say a wind came and split the sea. Now, normally a wind will not be so structured and organized to split the sea. If it is a wind, and the Quran doesn't say, it says the fanfalaq, the split. They don't mention any in the intermediate between the sticking of the sea. Obviously, this will violate gravitation directly. It must be other forces. So you could say another force substituted, balanced out the gravity. But also, the road which is stuck in the sea was, because usually even if the water retreats, the bottom of the sea will be muddy, difficult to walk on, but it became dry. Yabasan. Strike for them away, which is yabas, which is dry even. لا تخافوا دركا ولا تخشى. So the word natural, supernatural is really not very leading anywhere. In the some sense, it is definitely supernatural. Because if you want to find a natural explanation for it, they try to say it happens accidentally at that moment when Musa was escaping with his people. There was this volcanic eruption in the island of Crete, and there was a tsunami. And the tsunami had first, number one, retreat of the sea. So the sea retreated, and Musa, ya mashallah, and they crossed. And that, the Bani Israel make it a miracle. Which kind of an accident is that? It's an unbelievable accident. And then after they crossed, the tsunami came back and took Pharaoh and his people. Come on, people. That happens at this very moment is itself miraculous if it were tsunami. But that's not the description, neither by the eyewitness of Bani Israel, nor by the witness of the Quran. The Quran is just striking the stick and not going into details, which is the moment of the habit of the Quran. It skips many details. Like for example, the Qarnayn, after he built a dam, Allah said, they were unable to jump over it, nor they are able to dig through it. Meaning they were trying. Failed. It did not mention that. Just mentioned the final result. They were unable. Meaning they must have been trying. So otherwise, how do you know they are unable? How to tell the people? Most likely there were people who are under attack by the way. They were looking for up and seeing the futile attempts of the guy to go through. Something like that. He just reported that. Sometimes jumps from dunya to akhirah immediately, even jumping all dunya. So the Quran is doing the modern art of movie making, of flashback and forward quickly. Does not go into there because it's not a history book. Or they give sometimes a glimpse of the history for certain. For example, a very an interesting point which I address a little bit in the book of Tawheed, but more expanded in the book of Hakimiyya, is that when they went to the Prophet in Surah Al-Baqarah asking for a king to fight those who have expelled them out of the part of Palestine, so the Philistines. It says the Prophet didn't see the leaders, the Mala, the nobles of Bani Israel, when they ask a messenger of them to send the king so they can fight in the cause of Allah. The Quran jumps a long discussion. Actually, the main discussion was before that, but the Quran jumped it for other reasons, legal reasons, so on. Is that they were asking for a king to be appointed generally before the jihad, before discussing the issue of jihad, and the messenger said in the Quran said, let's assume you are ordered to do jihad, because it was not continuous obligation. A prophet will order it, another does not order. It was continuous obligation. Then you may fail to perform jihad, and the reality showed that they failed. They were just talking, but really not willing for jihad. Actually, the discussion was about kingdom and the evil of inherited kingdom. If you go to that, this mentioned that the book of Tawheed that hereditary monarchy is not Islamic, etc. But that was skipped in the Quran because that is not an issue for the Quran. The issue of the Quran is clear. Even the Messenger of Allah needed a bay'ah from the people, so he's not a king, so it can't be a kingdom anymore. Nobody will ever dare coming asking for kingdom if he sees that the Messenger is not a king. So it's finished. It's abrogated. So the Quran just skipped that because it's not anymore relevant. And let you go to the Old Testament if you want to check it. No problem. But the issue of jihad and failing in jihad is a permanent issue until Yawm al-Qiyamah. That was addressed, and that block of ayah was concerning about jihad and enduring in jihad and having sabr in jihad, and that a small group will defeat many people if they have sabr and belief, etc. That was the issue, not the issue of hereditary monarchy or no. If you go to the Old Testament, you find maybe a half page about hereditary monarchy and the warning of their prophet that the kings will be evil, and if you insist on a king, Allah will permit you to have a king, but later on if the king oppresses you, he will not accept your prayer to remove the king. You will be stuck with him. And that's what happened really in their history. Most of their kings, except Dawood and Sulaiman and one or two others, were the most evil and vile kings you could imagine in history. But still the idiots insisted to have a king. That's very amazing. But so, for example, Quran jumps immediately to the issue of jihad. Okay, let's assume we appoint a king for you, and then jihad has become obligatory, because one of the reasons they said for a king to be important for them is that he will lead in the battle. It will be an organized army, etc. Yeah. So let's assume jihad become obligatory. Are you really going to comply, or you just turn back? And when jihad was obligatory, most of them turned back. They became unjust and turned back. So you see, the Quran is not obliged to tell you details, which some of them are very interesting and important, but they're not relevant for the matter at hand for that moment. So that it was a wind which split the sea, or not a wind, or whatever phenomena. But even if it's at that moment, so it is. They are all past, and the last one of them passed the moment they up. And then also there's the narration, but I think it's more imagination of some early scholars and so on, that Pharaoh came and was hesitating seeing this phenomena, which is obviously terrifying. But they claim that an angel, maybe Jibril, appeared in front of his horse as a female horse. So his horse pursued the female horse, pulling his car. He was on the car. You know, the Pharaoh, they have this car pulled by one or two horses. Chariot type. Running against his will behind the lovely female horse. And then the army seeing for Pharaoh charging, they have to charge behind him, clearly. All in their demise. I don't think you need a female horse to do the business, but it could have been like this way. We don't know. Allahu A'lam. Maybe Pharaoh lost his mind this moment and wanted to show courage. He doesn't need a female. He himself flogged the horse, pursue them to show his courage, or whatever. Or he was charging very fast to catch this phenomena before it collapses. But he definitely was amazed. I expect you coming to the seaside and see that. You would be quite amazed. But maybe I can still catch them before they're out, because if the sea is split for them, it will not collapse on me. So I may be able still to catch them. And in the movie, the Ten Commandments, I think he started in before they were looking and pushing the carriage. the director made it very exciting. Do you remember the Ten Commandments? You should see it. There's a very old one. Yeah. I think they were pushing the carriage, making it very exciting. At the last phase, and just barely the last one came, and the sea collapsed. So it may have been like that. Looks more natural, but we don't know what moved Pharaoh to charge in. It may be Jibril appearing as a female horse, exciting the. But you don't need this mechanism. There are many other mechanisms. One of it is just to push the horse with a knife in the butt and force it to run. Various things. But subhanAllah, you don't. Sometimes it comes in something which looks like a natural phenomenon. Sometimes it looks a natural phenomenon. Sometimes a very odd phenomenon. Like, take an odd one. Leave the splitting of the sea with the wind. What's about reviving the one who was killed? And by hitting with a piece of cow meat. Surah Al-Baqarah. You know the story about that. Yeah. This is completely, I don't think this has anything to do with any universal law in the universe. The man is dead for days, possibly starting maybe, there's a real danger that he will become smelly. So there's no doubt that he is dead. And then you hit him with a piece of meat. What is the relate to? Is life coming from meat in him or something? What's the life of a cow to do with the life of a man? You could say just Allah wanted the boy who has this specific cow to become rich on these idiots, that's all. Because they insist to be idiots. Instead of slaughtering any cow, they continue asking questions until they got themselves in the corner. Only one cow in the world will fit the description. And that boy became a millionaire. We don't know. But subhanAllah, is, as they say, I think it's usually the Christians say, the ways of the Lord are mysterious. Huh? We don't know. Why? Yeah. Other things which are within the universe but rely on something which is extra universal is that what Al-Khidr did with killing the boy and so on. You have to have this knowledge.
Yeah, but this was more like a wahi type of.
Yeah, but still the wahi type, but relate to some in the universe. Well, in the case of the ship, the king is there already confiscating ships. So you need to know it. You may know through your intelligence services. But in the case of the boy, there's no intelligence services very helpful there because it's speaking about the future. The other one with the treasure and so on, you may know about that. Maybe you are a friend of the father and he knows, and you see the wall is wobbly, so you make it firm so that they will become adults. But here you have also a piece of knowledge of ghaib. That firming of the wall will protect the treasure until they become adults and they will find themselves. Nobody else will get it. That's a piece of knowledge you cannot be sure if you don't have a surety from revelation. So it's a mix. It's no good to go. It is necessary in the universe, outside the universe. All of it is in and out in some sense. Even the one in the outside the universe, quantum mechanics looks sometimes so odd. You don't know if it is really in the universe or outside the universe.
Yeah. It's coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's coming from his.
Well, yeah, from his knowledge, from things. Yeah.
Speaking of Islam and coming all the way down.
Or directly, or by inspiration, by giving a feeling. Not all wahi is to speak. Sometimes you get a feeling, and if you are a prophet, you know this feeling was divine and firm. Just imagine yourself a certitude. The Prophet says sometimes ينفذ في روعي, then I know it. Becomes firm knowledge. Something inspiring in you. Like sometimes you get an idea but you are not certain it is certitude. Here he has the certitude combined with it. So both are emerging in his soul. Allahu A'lam, what are all of these phenomena? Very complex, very interesting.
Yes.
And if you keep open mind, you will not get any problem. If you become narrow minded and take things sometimes over literal or over limited, you will get immediately in trouble. So the issue of كلم الله موسى تكليما again and sound, etc. We should not get busy with that. We know now how things work in this universe and how Allah is capable of creating sounds in your ear. Like in some narrations say, they claim he said to Musa, I talked to you with the sound sense of 10,000 men. If I talk to you more than that, you would have been dead. Yeah, we know if the sound is stronger than a certain level, it will crush you and kill you. That's true. And obviously talking to Musa, he felt a sound which is enormous. It can't be just talking like a man talking to him. It must be something overwhelming like thunder. So you know it is a major entity. All this irrelevant. Allah can talk to you soundless even. You see it written in front of you if you are a reader and writer or something like that. Various ways. One of it is not even to talk to you, just to see written on the wall the instructions in writing without any sound. That's also talking to you. Actually dictating to you or showing to you what he wants in written form. But you could say it's speech because what's written is speech. Because the Quran is written in front of us. There's nobody talking to us anymore. But it is the speech of Allah, still the written one. So you can spoke to him in written. We know in case of Musa he heard it, in the sense of hearing. But part of it was written on the tablets. So various ways of talking directly are there. And various phenomena are there. So getting stuck with some, like, yeah, if someone in a village simple-minded come, then we are merciful. But someone who's sophisticated, getting stuck in that, I don't think we should be very merciful. Say, wake up, you don't know how things are. Even in the universe, they are more complex and varied than you think. So don't think Allah will have difficulty having much more other variations and ways to express himself with sound, without sound, with writing, without writing, with all types, with just giving the meaning in the spirit, in a certitude way, like nafth al-raw', ilham. All this is accessible, and even more is accessible to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What we know and even what we don't know, and things beyond imagination, like what he said in paradise, things which have no eye has seen, no ear has heard, and never came even to the heart of any human beings. Beyond current conception, will be conceived only at that moment. So all of that is accessible to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's infinite power there. So that issue is a non-issue for me. Allah spoke to Musa, yes, with the sound, yes, no problem, absolutely no problem. And we can say fairly the sound, his sound. That sound does not to be outside vibrating in the air. It does not need to be heard. Allah can speak to various people, they hear and the others do not hear. 100 hear and 700 do not hear. Yeah. When Musa came with his people in a delegation to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the 70 men, as the Old Testament say, it seems to be they have heard and they became long and say, okay, we hear, but we would like to see him. We will not believe you really and trust you until you show him clearly face to face. Yeah. And then the lightning struck them and all died, and Musa continued supplicating, and Allah revived them.
He even spoke to them again, when in Deuteronomy, when the Muslims say that this is referring to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they were saying, look, we can't take it anymore. Please let him speak to you, and that's it. And then Musa said, okay, one shall come like unto thee from amongst his own brethren, blah blah blah. Yeah. And the speech will finish. So some Muslims have said this was actually the continuation of the Quran, something along those lines. This is now, because they rejected it. This is now.
Yeah.
So he spoke to them.
Yeah. To them, yeah. They could not answer. It's too much for us. We cannot. They were terrified. In various ways. So we should be open-minded in that. We should not get stuck in issues of metaphor, reality, no reality. Reality is itself too complex for this simple-minded approach of people in the past. I think we have passed this phase of stupidity of Mu'tazila and Ahlul Hadith of that time. Most of that is stupid. It's stupid discussion and absurd dialogues which leads nowhere. It doesn't give you more knowledge. It doesn't give you more piety. So what does it give you? It wastes your energy, de facto. Confusion, yeah. It should not really confuse, but at that level, at that time, it was confusing. Now, to the next issue. Yeah, we will catch a few issues, inshallah, before the time she reaches us. That's issue 65. This is line 27, and it continues until line 5 in the next page, which is page 57. مسألة 65. وإن الله تعالى اتخذ إبراهيم ومحمدا صلى الله عليه وسلم خليلين. قال عز وجل اتخذ الله إبراهيم خليلا. حدثنا عبد الله بن يوسف حدثنا أحمد بن فتح حدثنا عبد الوهاب بن عيسى تسير الإسناد حدثنا أحمد بن محمد حدثنا أحمد بن علي حدثنا مسلم بن الحجاج حدثنا محمد بن بشار العبدي حدثنا محمد بن جعفر حدثنا شعبة عن إسماعيل بن رجاء قال سمعت عبد الله بن أبي الهذيل يحدث عن أبي الأحوص قال سمعت عبد الله بن مسعود يحدث عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أنه قال لو كنت متخذا خليلا لاتخذت أبا بكر خليلا ولكنه أخي وصاحبي وقد اتخذ الله صاحبكم خليلا. Issue 65, also nothing very much to comment, that we believe, it's part of the belief, that Allah the Exalted adopted Ibrahim and Muhammad as two Khalil. Now the friend, darling, buddy, very close, beloved friend, Khalil. Khalil means two hearts so intermixed. The Exalted and Majestic said Allah adopted or Allah made Ibrahim Khalil. Now hadith told us Abdullah ibn Yusuf, told us Ahmad ibn Fatih, told us Abdul Wahab ibn Isa, told us Ahmad ibn Muhammad, told us Ahmad ibn Ali, told us Muslim ibn Hajjaj, told us Muhammad ibn Bashar al-Abdi, told us Muhammad ibn Ja'far with the famous title Ghundur, that's Ghundur Muhammad Ja'far, told us Shu'bah عن Ismail ibn Raja. He said, I heard Abdullah ibn Abi al-Hudayl narrating or telling us from Abi al-Ahwas, Abi al-Ahwas saying, I heard Abdullah ibn Mas'ud يحدث عن النبي, narrating from the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, that he said, if we were to adopt a buddy or a close beloved friend from my companion, I would have adopted Abu Bakr as a Khalil. But he is my brother and my companion only. I'm not permitted because I have only one Khalil. But Allah has adopted your friend, meaning himself Sahib, your companion, meaning himself Khalilan. That's the reason he cannot have another Khalil. Allah said, you are my Khalil, khalas. All others are just friends and companions. I am the only Khalil. You are my Khalil, and I am supposed to be your exclusive Khalil. You can have brothers, you can have companions, but no Khalil. I am the Khalil only. So this shows, this evidence from Hadith shows that Muhammad is also Khalilullah, like Ibrahim. That's the meaning of the Hadith. Now Khalil means the utmost level of Khalil could be either from Khalala, going through, so they are through each other, they are buddies, like in English buddy. Maybe buddy is the so close that they are like one, intermingling in each other. Or another one, Khulla, meaning the need. Fulan has Khulla, meaning he has need. So everyone needs the other to the extent. Obviously Allah doesn't need anybody else, so that does not apply to Allah, but it is a love to the level of everyone. I cannot live with the other one. I can't live without you. That's it. That's Khalil. The utmost level of love.
Where is
And
Habibullah?
also Habib. He's Habibullah, the beloved of Allah. But actually some people think Habib is higher than Khalil, but it's not true. Khalil is very special. Habib, all believer are Habib. يحبهم ويحبونه. He loves the believer. They love him. Habib is the darling, the beloved one. He is definitely a beloved one, but all prophets and all good people and all Siddiqeen and Shuhada are beloved one. But the one who is so deeply intermixed is a Khalil. And with this title, we know that there is evidence only for Ibrahim and for Muhammad alayhi salam. Maybe other prophets too. He didn't say this the only Khalil in the universe. Maybe the others. No? Maybe some angels are also Khalil. Have a special name to all of them. We don't know. Maybe the angels are not suitable to be Khalil at all by their own creation and nature. They just say a certain distance because humans have certain preference. Because the angels don't have that free will, so they are not like according to the Old Testament, in the image of Allah. They are not of the same type. While humans have some like a small pieces of the divine more than the angels. In spite of all their shortcomings, they have this free will which makes them closer to the divine and possibly to become a body. While the angels is a distance of like the good distance to a machine, perfect machine. But it's not. You can never have your car as a Khalil, but you have your wife as a Khalil. Yeah. Although maybe your car is more expensive sometimes and more costly. Yeah. Oh, this is a bad example, but I mean, you decide what I mean. You love the car and so on, but it will never be a Khalil. I can't live without my Ferrari, but you cannot live with your beloved wife, maybe. Although I never heard about someone committing suicide because he can't bear it, but some have committed suicide because his girlfriend deserted him or something. Yeah, something like that. So Khilla is something else. So you may have to be closer in nature somehow. So I am not sure if angels could be suitable as Khalil. Maybe. Definitely he loves them as believer and as obedient. There's a love and good relation. But Khalil, I don't know. Maybe you need to be of certain type to be able to intermingle somehow. Allahu A'lam. Humans are very distinctive in the universe. Somehow. Compared to what we know of other creatures. So that's a bit of speculation in love and affection, but these two Khalils are well established. There may be other Khalils, maybe even other creatures in heavens, we don't know. But definitely these two are Khalils, and Allah capable of adopting Khalils without being in need that I can't live without you. It doesn't apply to Allah, but it's such an extreme love. From the other side, it will be that way, but not from a. And that's the reason when these prophets are told that it's now time of death, are you ready? They say, we want to join the supreme companion. I don't want. Like the Prophet told Abu Muwayhiba before he died, few days, I have been given the two options. One option is to be with you until Yawm al-Qiyamah and then go into paradise. Another option to join my Lord. Somebody said, choose us, Messenger of Allah, and stay with us until Yawm al-Qiyamah and then to paradise, the same rank. I said, no, Abu Muwayhiba, I am fed up with you. I want to leave. I don't want to stay here. No. I chose my Lord. Is enough. 23 years with you is more than enough. I am fed up to here with you. So, because there's a Khalil, otherwise his companions were quite good, also and his wives. So some of them are very nice, some of them are a bit troublesome, but some are quite nice. But he's fed up with the whole life because the other Khalil is waiting. Yeah, just to be there is much better than being here. Next issue is page 57, line 6 until line 11. issue 66 مسألة السادسة والستين. وأن محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وسلم أسرى به ربه بجسده وروحه وطاف في السماوات سماء سماء ورأى أرواح الأنبياء عليهم السلام هنالك. قال عز وجل: سبحان الذي أسرى بعبده ليلا من المسجد الحرام إلى المسجد الأقصى. آية 1 إسراء. ولو كان ذلك رؤيا منام ما كذبه في ذلك أحد، كما لا نكذب نحن كافرا في رؤيا يذكرها. وقد ذكرنا رؤيته عليه السلام الأنبياء عليهم السلام قبل فأغنى عن إعادته. Now this may be a bit controversial, but let me translate issue 66. And that Muhammad, peace be upon him, has been taken the night journey to his Lord and from there to heaven, because in the night journey he went also from Beit Maqdis with his body and soul. And he turned around in the heavens, heaven after heaven. And he saw the spirits of the prophets there. The Exalted and Majestic says, blessed be is the one who made Isra, who took his slave in the night journey at night from the Masjid al-Haram, from the holy sanctuary in Mecca to the remote masjid, the Masjid al-Aqsa. That's ayah 1 al-Isra. Now Abu Muhammad Ali Hazwa, ولو كان ذاك رؤيا منام, if it would have been a night vision, just a ru'ya, a dream, nobody would have called him a liar. As we don't call even a disbeliever a liar if he tells about a vision at night. You take them. If a disbeliever tell you I have that vision at night, you will not dispute with him. No, he can't have it. What's the problem with that? It could be a true vision, even like the disbelieving king of Egypt, or the king of Egypt. We don't know if he's like disbelieving or not at that time. Maybe became a believer later, maybe he's a pagan, we don't know. So even kuffar, everyone can see through even vision. And we mentioned that he met the messenger, peace be upon him, when we talked about the soul previously, so we don't need to repeat it. It's sufficient, no need to repeat it now. Meeting, etc. The issue with body and soul is controversial between the scholars, to be certain. But Abu Muhammad's argument is quite strong, because if it is just a manam, but there may be an in-between. There will be a vision which you are asleep, in the state of sleep. There may be a vision of the soul where your body is not missed, but your soul goes in a certain conscious state which is not a sleeping state. That may be the Isra and Mi'raj. And there is, with body and soul, the normal way. I would say I have no problem with any one of them, frankly speaking.
He makes a good point.
Yeah, but that is just a dream, like a usual dream. There's nothing to be argued. Say I have seen a dream. But on the other hand, what weakens a bit Abu Muhammad's argument is that later in Surah Al-Isra there was an argument about Isra. Allah says, وَمَا جَعَلْنَا الرُّؤْيَا الَّتِي أَرَيْنَاكَ إِلَّا فِتْنَةً لِلنَّاسِ. The ru'ya which we let you see, we did not make it except to be a test for mankind. So he refers to the Isra as ru'ya. But some people say no, it means only the part which was in the heaven. It is, as I say, it is, for me it is the non-issue. He saw a reality as it is, even if it is a manam. Or it is not a manam in the sense that you are in a state of non-consciousness and you are shown symbols. He has seen many visions later in Medina and so on, and told them. That's not an issue. I think this is, nobody will argue, and every human being will know if you tell him I've seen a ru'ya that someone is riding on a donkey and is hitting me or something like that. They will try to interpret it symbolically. Even kuffar, even psychologists now and psychoanalysts, they will try to interpret it by sex, and you have a problem with your father and mother. They have an interpretation for it, sub-Freudian interpretation. That's not a problem. Nobody will argue about that. So it must be, he described it and that he has seen the reality as such. So it is not relevant if he has seen the reality as such. He did not describe it as a ru'ya. I was there and saw it as it is. Not I was in dream, because he sometimes say I saw a vision. Any one of you saw a dream yesterday? And they tell him dreams. There's plenty on Bukhari. If you just scan through the Bukhari, you'll find many dreams mentioned. Anyone seeing a vision? And the famous dream that a scale came down from him and he was weighed, and his ummah on the side, and the Prophet was heavier than all his ummah, than Abu Bakr, than Umar, than Uthman, then the scale was lifted. One Sahabi reported that to him, and then he saw that the Prophet was very upset about that. And then he said, commented on that in the other hadith, Khilafat al-Nubuwah, it will be the succession of a prophethood for 30 years, and after that it will be kingdom. Allah give the kingdom whoever he wants. But he was very unhappy about that. He was very upset about that. It will change to a kingdom after that. So he's interpreting it in something that there was no scale coming from heaven really, and he was not outweighing his ummah. All of that is not there. It is representing that it will be prophethood, then succession on the prophetic path, then it will be mess up. And he was very, very upset about that. So it's clearly this is the ru'ya. It's not he has seen I was in Bayt al-Maqdis. I was I saw. You will not see I was in Bayt al-Maqdis. So Abu Muhammad is right because the way he represents to Quraysh that I was in Bayt al-Maqdis yesterday. I can refer to the soul or to the body or the body of the soul. We don't care. So I think getting stuck in body and soul is absurd. It does not bring us anywhere. But he was there. It is not like a usual ru'ya, which is symbolic. Either symbolism of Freud or the symbolism of the interpreter of dreams. It's fully consciousness and it's the reality as it is. As may be accessed by body and soul. As if you were with your body there, even if you were not with your body. Doesn't matter. So the issue body or non-body, I would say is stupid. I can't take you, Allah would be able to take your soul, put it in a computer or in a bird and go there and see. No problem.
Like in the surah, Allah says, the night He takes the souls.
That's the, yeah.
He takes them,
But release them. But that taking is obviously, in the case of death, is something else. You are separated from the body and the end of this worldly life. In the case of death, you are in a state of full consciousness, part consciousness. But here it's different. It's another taking. Not the standard one, because these two others are standard. Everyone dies, and he will be taken a certain way and kept in reservation or in barzakh behind a barrier until Yawm al-Qiyamah, a barrier of spiritual type. That's no problem. That's everyone going to experience that willingly or unwillingly. And the other one, everyone experiences almost daily in the sleep. These are the standard one, part of the system of the universe. But the one which is not part of the standard system is like the Isra. So it's a ru'ya, something he saw, but it's not a ru'ya like the ru'ya symbolic of in the half consciousness state of sleep. And the one of the prophets is also unfallible, but it has to be interpreted. The one for the believer could be partly fallible, could be confused with a bit. The devil tried to interject some mess in it, so you don't get the ru'ya pure as it should be. Your subconscious may play a role, a havoc there. Yeah.
Can that happen? We can, like,
Yeah.
interfere with.
Yeah. Not for the prophet, but for a normal human being. Yeah. You may have a very nice dream. At the end, the devil recognizes that you are having a very nice bushra, and he tries to mess the end of it up using any access. An access, for example, that you did not sleep very well, or you have a full stomach and plays done through the physiology, and all these things, all these phenomena are there.
But the ru'ya part that is from Allah.
Yeah, indeed, but he tried to confuse it. He will try it because you are not infallible. That's the point. For prophets, he can't. The ru'ya will be pure. It needs just only interpretation. Sometimes you cannot interpret it until the time comes. Like Yusuf, he could interpret dream, but his own first dream he was unable to interpret. But Yaqub recognized there's something big coming. Don't tell your brother, we don't want to have headache in the family, and he got the biggest headache. Imagine. Yeah. So, but Yaqub knew that's something. He saw the sun and the moon, and that means he will be even above his father and mother, and they will be showing him. That's clear for Yaqub. He immediately recognized there's something big happening, but what is exactly is not clear. For Yusuf, he doesn't know. He asked his father, a small child, small boy, innocently, I saw this, what does it mean? He said, don't tell your brother this story, yeah? But he tell him, your Lord will adopt you and will get you to things which he started with your grandfathers, Ibrahim and Ishaq and Ismail and so on. That way you are going, so don't tell, it is going to be like that. Huh? So that's subhanallah, things which are a domain which needs really taste and needs meticulous and slow going, and not getting too much in body and soul or dream or non-dream. Really being more meticulous and well balanced there. Then you gain more. Then you will be able to interpret dreams. You will be able to develop and become more spiritual and more both rational and spiritual. Not spiritual in an irrational way with irrationality, and not rational in a dry materialistic way, in a spiritual way. You have to take it meticulous. So wasat. I think there Abu Muhammad is going a little bit. Let's say that's adoption. That's perfect. We respect that. With the jasadi, I would say jasadi ruhi. I don't care. That's what. So he saw the reality in a state of consciousness, which is different than the state of dreaming. Is like awake. How was done? Was he in a computer flying in the air? Was he in a bird? I don't care. It is irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant. Even amazingly, when he went to Bayt al-Maqdis, obviously the situation was so that the trip was done as if in the back of an animal called al-Buraq. and it appeared to the Prophet Muhammad like between the donkey and the horse. It's like essentially a mule size, and the name for it, Jibril told him, the name is Buraq. It's derived from Arabic word barq, lightning. So it's like a light type being, a being which goes by light speed or something, indicating Buraq. So we are in a realm which we don't know where we are really, but we have some indication even from the word, because this animal is not an Arabic animal. Nobody knows this Buraq. Muhammad told him it's called Buraq. How do you know? Jibril told him it's Buraq. Obviously, Jibril talked to him in Arabic, not in Chinese or English. Others will call it lightning or lightnino or something like that. If Muhammad was Italian or he said litnino or something like that. But this is Buraq. Why Buraq? Why not Suraq? Yeah.
It means lightning. Yeah?
And he said he puts his foot where his eyesight is. Jumps over the horizon. Almost like a being of light.
Sounds like teleportation as well, man.
Something like that. It is appear to him, because Muhammad was in conscious state. In that conscious state, things must appear to him suitable for also human perception, because in his conscious, he's conscious as a human being, not conscious as an angel. So he cannot relate to angels and to other beings as they are.
Yeah.
Allah Alam what the meaning the word as they are, but as they perceive themselves. So he has to perceive them that he perceives animals and creatures and things like that.
Obviously, his no reference point wouldn't be like technology like we have now.
Yeah.
So he's gonna have to say, well, look, there's a donkey and it's going to be the size of this long. And
Just a small comment for interesting. One of my brothers is having a bit also a tick towards half brother towards spirituality, and or they're a little bit more than even he went to India and joined Tablighi Jamaat for some time. And he asked me one time, his name is Lu'ay, asked me, do you know about these hadith which speak about the donkey of the Dajjal, or the spread of his ears is 40 meters or 40 span, etc.? I said, yes, I think they are metaphorical if they are not fabricated. Say, no, I have an interpretation for that. My interpretation for that is this is really aeroplanes, like a Boeing, because this is a transportation thing, and as I said, it jumps from east to west. And secondly, without now they have the sound, the dampening devices in the planes to that sound. But sometimes the sound device, especially the older planes, if they fly above you, you see that the engine is not in one's voice. It's it's almost like the donkey sound, but it has been now so shielded that we hear only. But if in the older plane, it is not in one. It vibrates back and forth like a donkey sound. So it's almost like a flying donkey. I said, well, this is not a bad interpretation. At least it's good to have such a brother with a bit of Sufi inclination sometimes. So the donkey of the Dajjal is nothing than planes which jumps from. Yeah.
But it says it's a hadith that says.
But he has to use the language of the people. He said something iron flying.
Exactly.
This man must be mental or something like that. Now, letting rain fall for the Dajjal. We don't want to go much in the Dajjal, but letting rain fall and things like that. We have now. We can seed clouds now. Although it's not done extensively because the technology is not completely mastered, and also raining in one place may affect the rain in another place in an adversary way, and nobody dares now going in that too much. But the experiments have been done.
Yeah, in Japan, I think they did some experiments.
I was actually a delegate of King Saud University to the World Meteorological WMO to follow issues of rain making and so on. So I was having set of, in the 70s and early 80s. I attended some conferences, and they did some experiments, and they were quite promising.
In the 70s,
But yes, the 70s and 80s. So it must have developed now quite considerably. But I think political reasons and various issues still not sorted out. But the technology is there, so it can. So the guy will be able to use it then positively or negatively to punish and reward those who follow him. So many things like that. But we will come to that maybe bit by bit, inshallah. We should not stick there. But just as a casual, these things, if you don't take them too much at face value, too literal, too materialistic, or too metaphorical, you will achieve some good results. Now, next issue. So Isra with body, with soul, it is only what we can say. It is he was so conscious as if he's awake, not as if he's sleeping. You can call it ru'ya because the Quran says ما جعلنا الرؤيا التي أريناك إلا فتنة الناس. So it's a ru'ya, but it is a ru'ya of another type than the usual dreams. Even the prophetic dreams, which are infallible, they come in symbols. While these are not. Like for example, the ru'ya that he saw that two men awoke him and went and show him something like a well, and a very ugly man going around that well, watching very carefully, very shocking, كريه المنظر, And I said, who is this? Come, come, come. And they show him a river where people are swimming in a river of blood, and the moment they come to the shore, a stone is thrown in the mouth, and they say, what is this? Say, come, 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 later. And then pass a very beautiful man with kids around him in a garden. Say, who is that? Say, don't worry, come, come, come. At the end, then explain him who is that. The first one was the guardian of the hellfire, Malik, etc., etc. That's different than in Bayt al-Maqdis when he was there. And Jibreel told him, this is Malik, the guardian of hellfire. Malik came in a beautiful picture as an angel. And they attend him. I wanted to say salam to him, but he was faster. He was salam alaikum wa rahmatullah. So he was faster than me. He was faster than me, doing salam on me. Malik was not ugly at that time. That was in conscious state, different than the vision. In the vision, he's very ugly. We can't expect the guardian of the hellfire to be beautiful looking. He must be extremely ugly. Going like a beast around the opening of the hellfire, which looks like a well, going down like a well, like an abyss, and he's watching the abyss on side. Nobody can get out. Imagine رجل كريه المنظر مرعب, terrifying. That's obviously in symbolism, representing him as a hellfire guardian, but as an angel he's beautiful. He's obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you see the difference between this and this. Just hints. The moment you get in this symbolism and in a reasonable way, you will extract more truth and more information than getting stuck with body or soul or body and this. There's no contradiction there. So next issue, inshallah. And these areas, I know it's very interesting for everyone. We get sometimes stuck there. Oh, very so lovely, but we have to proceed. Okay, issue 67, that's line 12 until the end of the page, and it continues until line 5 in page 58. We'll continue until I get a call to pick up the family. مسألة 67 وأن المعجزات لا يأتي بها أحد إلا الأنبياء عليهم السلام. قال عز وجل وما كان رسول أن يأتي بآيات إلا بإذن الله. آية 38 الرعد. وقال تعالى وإن يروا آية يعرضوا ويقولوا سحر مستمر. 2 القمر. وقال تعالى حاكي عن موسى عليه السلام أنه قال أو لو جئتك بشيء مبين قال فأت به إن كنت من الصادقين فألقى عصاه فإذا هي ثعبان مبين. آية 30 الشعراء. وقال تعالى فذلك برهانان من ربك إلى فرعون وملئه. آية 32 القصص. فصح أنه لو أمكن يأتي أحد ساحر أو غيره بما يحيل طبيعة أو يقلب نوعا لما سمى الله تعالى ما يأتي بالأنبياء عليهم السلام برهانا لهم ولا آية لهم، ولا أنكر على من سمى ذلك سحرا ولا يكون ذلك آية لهم عليهم السلام. وندعى أن إحالة الطبيعة لا تكون آية إلا حتى يتحدى فيها النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم الناس فقد كذب وادعى ما لا دليل عليه أصلا لا من عقل ولا من نص قرآن ولا سنة، وما كان هكذا فهو باطل. ويجب من هذا أن حنين الجذع وإطعام النفر الكثير من الطعام يسير حتى شبع وهم مئون من صاع شعير ونبعان الماء من بين أصابع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وإرواء 1400 من قدح صغير تضيق سعته عن شبر ليس شيء من ذلك آية له عليه السلام لأنه عليه السلام يتحدى بشيء من ذلك أحدا. That's a very good point. Issue 67 line 12 in page 57 until line 5 in page 58. Issue 67 and the miracles cannot be brought forward except by prophets, peace be upon them. Allah the Exalted Majestic say, it was not for a messenger to bring any evidence or any ayah sign except by the permission of Allah. So it's not according to his will, but permission of Allah. Ayah 38 Al-Ra'd. And the Exalted says, and if they say any ayah, they turn away and see they say it's a continuous magic. This is ayah number 2, Surah Al-Qamar. And Allah Ta'ala said, reporting about Musa, peace be upon him, that he said, addressing Fir'aun, أَوَلَوْ جِئْتُكَ بِشَيْءٍ مُبِينٍ, even if I bring something evident forward. Fir'aun said, فَأْتِ بِهِ إِن كُنتَ مِنَ الصَّادِقِينَ, bring it if you are telling the truth. So he threw down his stick and it turns into an evident snake. Ayah 30 Ash-Shu'ara. And the Exalted says, فَذَلِكَ, addressing Musa also another occasion when he showed him both the stick and the white hand. When he said, pull your hand, it becomes white without any disease. It's as white as if it has this skin disease which makes the hand completely white, but it is not, and it turns away and back because Musa was very dark, very, very dark, like almost Abyssinian, very dark colored, darker than the average of Bani Israel. Adam means very dark, like my color or even darker. Adam, they call it Adam, the one who was darker than. That's the claim, that's the reason, but Allahu A'lam, this is an old name, we don't know what's it, so we don't want in this place. So Adam in Arabic means Adam, it is almost dark, greeny brown, not bluish brown like the Negroes and the Nilotic tribes, but more like the Ethiopian and this, they call them green brown, not blue brown. Sudanese, Somalians, etc. So yeah, Eritrean, that Semitic Hamitic mix, greenish, more to the green, dark brown in the green, not the blue, very negroid black, not the bluish black. So he was Adam, greenish dark. So when he pulls his hand, it becomes white. This is immediately, this is obvious, without having any disease, a healthy hand. That's also a sign. And Allah said, "Fadhanika burhana." These two are two proofs from your Lord to Pharaoh and his nobility and his upper class, his velvet society. Ayah 32 Al-Qasas. So it is established, Ibn Hazm say, if it would have been possible for anybody, a magician or otherwise, to change the nature of things, then Allah would not have called that for the messengers an evidence, because if someone else it is possible, that cannot be evidence for prophethood. It's not possible, so it cannot be evidence for them nor a sign for them. And he would not have, Allah had rebuked those who call it magic. It is not magic, so magic cannot change the nature of things, nor could be the changing of nature except be a miracle for a prophet. And then he is replying now to listen for I translate and comment, which is a good comment. And who claims that this changing of nature is not an ayah, not a sign or proof, until there is a change from the messenger with it? Who said that? He is a liar, because he has claimed something without any evidence, neither evidence from the necessity of reason, nor from the text of the Quran or the Sunnah. And whatever is like that is false, is a falsehood. From that claim that an ayah is only ayah if there is a challenge, it results then by necessity that the longing of the stick to the Prophet ﷺ, when the Prophet ﷺ was using a stick as a member, as a pulpit, and then a pulpit was constructed for him, he left the stick, the beam, and went to the pulpit, and the beam screamed out of longing to him, like a baby coming, until the Prophet went and embraced it until it calmed down. So that cannot be then an evidence for the Prophet, because there was no challenge. He didn't challenge. Do you see? I challenge you to do the same. He did not challenge anybody. Or feeding many people with a small amount of food. He did not do it in a challenging way. He did it as a courtesy for his Sahaba. Or letting 1,400 people drink from a cup, like in Hudaybiyah. Or all of these things with the Prophet, he never challenged anybody with them, so they cannot be evidence for him. But they are evidence. We know they are evidence. So the claim that an evidence or a miracle is only a miracle if it is used in a challenging way is a mistake. It's a miracle by its own essence. What he's saying is that the miracle is miracle by its own essence, no, independent if there is a challenge or not. Sometimes it comes to challenge, yes, like in the case of Musa, it came to challenge evidently, and sometimes it's not. No, don't go far away. Splitting the sea, there was no challenge. He didn't challenge anybody, can you do that? He's doing it to help Bani Israel to cross. Obviously, we can challenge people, say, do the same if you are a messenger. Yeah, we can, but it is not necessarily done in a form of challenge. It can be done in the form of a mercy of Allah. Yeah? An evidence for the Prophet, without challenging anybody, do something else. Or in a challenging state. But it is challenging in its own nature because it's miraculous, yes. But it doesn't need to be coming in a challenging context. So to be precise, Ibn Hazm say, it doesn't need to be coming in a challenging context. It may come in a casual context.
Well, some people saying it had to be in a challenging context.
Some say that.
But I'm assuming everything he's addressing.
Yeah, it was at his time. It's a miracle by its own essence. It is not accessible for any power except the power of Allah. That's what makes it miraculous. It may come in a challenging context to say someone saying, prove that you are a messenger. That's a challenge. Here's the stick. Response to the challenge. Or it may come not. Because the people of Bani Israel said, Fir'aun will reach us, we will kill us. You are a false messenger. They didn't say that. They will be killed. They said, no, my Lord will guide me. And he stuck the sea. Yeah. 1 second. Bani Israel were not challenging Moshe, saying you are a false messenger, or show us that you are a messenger. They say we'll be finished. Pharaoh will kill us. And Moshe said, no, they will not kill us. My Lord will guide me how to get out of this dilemma. And he struck, and he was ordered to hit the sea with his stick. And it split. It's obviously miraculous. Nobody can do that except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it's a further evidence, although it's not coming in this challenge. But by its own nature, being impossible to be done except by Allah, it is challenging to anyone. And you can use it as an evidence. So it's by its own nature evidence, even if it comes without in a challenging context. Yeah. So this, I think this is valid, and rationally there's no rational reason to believe it has to be in its own nature really, although very often they come in a challenging context. The next issue is very interesting. Ibn Hazm is really very modern and very sophisticated in that. He says, it's just 2-3 lines, 6 to 8, page 55, issue 68, مسألة 68. والسحر حيل تخيل لا يحيل طبيعة أصلا. قال عز وجل: يخيل إليه من سحرهم أنها تسعى. There's a mistake here in the printing of the ayah. فصح أن تخيلات لا حقيقة لها، ولو أحال السحر طبيعة لكان لا فرق بينه وبين النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم، وهذا كفر بمن أجازه. Issue 68. And witchcraft is either tricks or inducing imagination, inducing feelings, which cannot change the nature of things in themselves at all. The Exalted and Majestic says, يخيل إليه من سحر من. He was imagining, or he was perceiving them as moving, the sticks of the magician of Pharaoh, as if, because of their witchcraft, as if they are walking or running. In reality, they were not walking, they were stuck there, they were not walking or running, they were not moving in the first place. Either they were moving, some people say they were filled with mercury, and in the heat mercury start to evaporate a certain temperature, and then they start twisting, and it's obviously a physical movement. It's a trick. Or they were able to interfere with the mental capability of the man and let you see things which are not there, either by a trick or by influencing the mental imagination capability, let you see things which are not in reality, but in reality they were not moving and they were not alive. That's the most important point. So it is established that it is just imagination which has no reality. And if a magician could change the nature of things, then there was no difference between him and the Prophet at all. And this is kufr if you permit that. If you permit that a magician will do something like a prophet, only a prophet can do, then the evidences are all gone, and there's no difference between a magician and the sahir. So the stick of Musa really became a real snake, truly a real snake, comparable to any snake we know in the universe. And the sticks of the magician appeared to be snake, but they were not snakes. And the movement is either by a trick, by evaporation or gases developing a certain way so they twist and go around, or it is just a pure imagination by letting you imagining something, by interfering, possibly using satanic forces to let you see things which are not there, which can interfere with the consciousness, but the reality you think you are seeing is not a reality. It's just an image created in the mind. So that's and this is an important point. So witchcraft can be either mostly tricks, which is done by Peter Morfield, or his name, and things like that on a stage and so on in a meticulous way. Most illusions, creating an illusion by tricks, or possibly using some kind of spiritual entities of conscious type, like jinn and so on, evil entities, to interfere. In that case, most of it will be to interfere with your feeling, like let you hate someone or love someone or something like that in a false way, sometimes by creating imagination about him which is not true, that he hates you or he's plotting against you, which is not true. Give you such stories and waswasa in your mind, this man is plotting against me, or he's planning something against me, which is not true, and then you start hating him. Or my wife is the way she looked from the window, she may be having a lover on the street or something like that, which is not true, and then you start hating her. Or give you some impressions which are not correct, or misinterpretation by whispering in your mind until it develops into hate. So it's again a trick of the mind, and the tricks of the mind or something like that. But it can't change the reality, the physical, material reality, in the way, in any comparative way to changing the stick of Musa into a real snake. That cannot happen. So this is really a modern point of view. Because sometimes in the past they thought magician will be able to change the nature of things. That's not true. That can't be. From line 9 to 11, issue 69, 9 to 11, مسألة 69. وأن القدر حق، ما أصابنا لم يكن ليخطئنا وما أخطأنا لم يكن ليصيبنا. قال الله عز وجل: ما أصاب من مصيبة في الأرض ولا في أنفسكم إلا في كتاب من قبل أن نبرأها. آية 22. The name of the surah is even wrong. What's آية 22 surah? I will check the surah. There's a mistake here. There's no surah called Al-Harir, the silk. Ghafir, yeah.
Is there one called Ghafir?
Yeah, Ghafir is al-Mu'min or Ghafir.
Is it Mu'min?
Al-Mu'min, Ghafir, al-Mu'min. But he's al-Harir. There's no surah called al-Harir at all.
Maybe it's a misprint.
Silk. Misprinting. I will check it. Maybe at-Tahrim. At-Tahrim. It could be at-Tahrim. Ayah 22 at-Tahrim. Possibly, but I will double check. Let us check it now.
Tahrim doesn't go to 22 though. It goes to 15.
Tahrim, are you sure?
Quite positive.
Then we'll check the indexed, the indexed of the Quran. Tahrim.
It only goes up to 15. Ayah 15.
You are right, not even 15, 12.
12.
Then even the number maybe ما أصاب مصيبة إلا في الأرض من قبل أن نبرأها إن ذلك الله. No, it's not here. No, I will. No.
Just
It's yeah.
Maybe you could.
Yeah.
Go
No.
to
Yeah.
14.
Issue 69 from line 9 to 11, page 58. That qadar is haqq. What has hit us could not have missed us, and what has missed us could not have hit us. Allah the Exalted Majestic say, ما أصاب من مصيبة في الأرض ولا في أنفسكم إلا في كتاب من قبل. No calamity hits you on earth or in yourself except it is in a book before it has been created. We will find what it is, because the word nabraha is unique, so I can't find it. Search it easily and tell you next time. So this is the issue of qadar. We don't want to go into detail. That needs a book by itself in fine points, etc., etc. It's essentially what the ayah says. It is in a book. Allah knows it in advance. That's what it says. No, it's a condition, that the condition will be like that, and it will be. So what has missed you could not have hit you, because the condition were not that it is by external force, or it could have been otherwise. It is the development would have been led in that, and nothing can be. If the development would have been different, that it does not mean that. Let me just make a small comment that you could say, if we would have done the precautions, or we have checked the tires of the car, we do not have a flat, or we would not have, or we would have checked the for example the steering. And we would have found that there is a bolt which is loose, and we would not have an accident. That's a correct statement. But in that accident which has happened, it was not done, so it must have led to that. In the future, you check your tires. That's perfectly fine. Does not prevent you from that, because the loose bolt was one of the causes of the accident. It does not mean the accident would have happened even if you have tightened the bolt, as some idiots think. No. If you have checked it and tightened the bolt, that it would have another development in the reverse, and another result would have resulted. Yeah, you see, that's where the people make the major mistake. What have missed us could not have hit us, as it happened already. But the condition would have been changed. It would have been another reality, with another result. But the reality which has happened already is gone. It cannot be changed. But in the future, you could learn from that and change the future possible realities, various possibilities, by changing the conditions. So, does not prevent you from studying what has happened and learn from it. Otherwise, the statement also says, didn't you go on earth and see what has the calamity hitting the nation before, so you learn from it? Otherwise, going around will not make any sense, because you will not learn from it, will not make any difference. So this is not the stupidity of some people think, even if we have done that, it would not have changed. No, if you have done it, the universe would have changed differently, would have been another, but it did not happen. So don't grieve, look forward, but learn from it. What were the conditions leading to that, and change them. Does not mean it has come unconditional. It has its own condition and reality. And that reality led to that. Now, if you don't want that not to repeat, see what led to that, and yeah, you see, that's the correct thing. But what already happened, khalas, it's gone. There's no way you think it could have missed you. It could have missed you with a change of the situation. It would not be in the universe as used to be before that. It's another universe which was not in reality. It's just in possible mental constellation which you can try to apply in the future to avoid similar calamity. That's very well possible.
Allah's the originator.
Yeah, of all of it. Like for example in Uhud, when he rebukes the Muslims that they disputed with the commander on the hill, and went down to collect the booty, and they were struck with the calamity. And obviously this revocation means in the future you should not do that. If you dispute with your commander and disobey the battle order, the enemy is going to get you. But what's happened in the past happened. The calamity is already known to Allah, and He permitted to happen. So just go over it, but know what mistake you made, so you don't repeat in the future. Otherwise the whole thing will be futile. So the meaning of that essentially is that what has happened, Allah is not surprised. How could it happen? He knows that it's going to happen, and He let it happen. It is not happening against His will, nor He could not have changed it. He could have if He wanted, but He let it go according to a certain system with a certain proportions. But if you learn from it, possibly if it's a calamity you don't like to repeat, fine. Learn why the calamity has happened and try to make the condition in the future different. But what has happened in the past, go over it. You're not going to change it. You should not enter into an eternal situation of mourning and slapping your face. You should think positively how you can change the situation in the future. The past has happened, and it's not happened. It happened surprisingly to you, but not surprisingly to Allah. He knew that in advance. You don't think it is surprising to Allah. He knew it and He permitted it to happen. So don't think it is. That's the point. You see this? That's the point.
Take a quick intermission.
No, I think we stop then, because I think I'm expecting.
It's an hour and a half, so I think we should stop.
Yeah, we should stop. Okay, so this is the qadr. It's a very messy point. If it's not understood properly, it will lead to contradiction and lead to stupidity. There's a popular saying that if the murderer, the killer, would have waited for the victim, he would have died by himself. This can be treated two ways: that he will die even if he's not killed, which is not true, or it means death is the destiny. So why you are in a hurry? Let Allah take his soul and you don't become a murderer. Take Allah. That is a more reasonable way of approach. But usually the common people mean the first one. That's not true. That's not true. On the other hand, we have now occasions where someone have escaped a certain death, but his time has run up, but in another way. Like the famous Italian boy who missed a plane. He missed a plane. And then his mother said, I tried to wake you as much as I can. You did not. You missed now. And they opened the radio and they hear that the plane has a crash and everyone died. So I said, Alhamdulillah that I did not wake up. She thought that they cheated. You know, it's called cheated death. And he went, I think, to go to a hospital or something or visit someone, and he had a car accident and died. So his time was up, but not with the people of death. It's where. So it's not that because he missed the plane he would be punished by death. No, that's not. Because maybe other people missed the plane and they did not die the same day, or they maybe died many years later. So this is nonsense. Yeah? You see where is the nonsensical point? He is not destined for that. Destined for something else, with a condition that he overslept that day. So he's destined elsewhere, but he is destined to die that day elsewhere with another means.
Imagine that, man. That must have been for them. My goodness.
Yeah.
I've changed their lives.
They cheat, definitely.
Have you seen that film Final Destination?
Yeah.
But things like that, audited like that, happen. Allah make them a sign for you that you don't think you are. The main thing is that don't think you are controlling the universe. I remember even if we switched off, there's no problem. It's just a small anecdote. My teacher, he's a philosophically inclined in Germany. He's a Jewish origin, but he has open mind. He's not these simple-minded physics professors. And then we were discussing. I said, "Inshallah, God willing, I will do that." Said, "How can someone modern like you, in these modern times, where we have telephone and so on, I said, you can now flip the telephone, arrange something, and go and pick it up." I told him, "But Professor Haido, you know that the telephone could be disconnected. I could go pick up, have an accident." So, sorry, sir. I withdraw my statement. I know it was stupid. It's just a shallow statement which slipped my tongue. He immediately recognized where's the problem. You don't control the whole universe. That's the meaning of qadar. He understood what I mean. We know we can arrange by telephone. Time passed. You arrange by calling from the ceiling of your house. It's no problem. This is not a matter of having ways and means. Man, you are not in complete control of the universe. There are so many conditions not under your control. So we say, if God willing, meaning if all conditions come right. That's the meaning, not the meaning that it is you don't prepare and you are not having an effect or you cannot achieve anything. I said, "Oh, so sorry, I know, I made that's a stupid thing." Which he immediately saw it after 2 sentences. Stop, you don't need to tell me any further. I'm withdrawing that stupid statement. It's okay. I know where's the mistake is, because the man is sharp. He immediately, he doesn't need to argue. Said, "Sorry, I made a blunder. This is like stupid, like journalists writing. That's not fit for a physics professor to talk such rubbish." Okay, sorry, I withdraw. Not even 2 sentences. He stopped me. You see, yes, immediately. You see the sharp man, and the honest intellectual man, and the cheater who will argue with you for another hour. All what it means, you don't control the universe. Only one controlling the whole universe, whose will cannot be undermined or frustrated. Only one. Everyone else whose will and design will be undermined, possibly, and frustrated. Sometimes not. Meaning he's susceptible for failure. Only one who will never fail, who will box himself all the time.